Supports Baig.mp4 and server. It has a socket micro VGA 478 for both P4 and server. We can install P4 and server from 1.4 GHz to 2.4 GHz. This motherboard has a bus speed of 400 MHz or 533 MHz. If your motherboard is old, the motherboard bus speed is 400 MHz. The latest motherboard bus speed is 533 MHz. But now it is not available in the market. अभी फिलहाल में ये मार्केट में अवेलेबल नहीं है. परचेस करने जाओ तो पुराना ढूंढ कर लाना पड़ेगा. It supports the DDR1 RAM. If you look carefully at the socket, so आपको दिखेगा notch है, single notch. So single notch RAM is a DDR1 RAM. So we can put DDR1 RAM on this motherboard from 266 MHz, 333 MHz and 400 MHz. This type of RAM we can put on the motherboard. Everything is inbuilt in the motherboard. You can see these are the connectors on the motherboard. This green connector is for PS2 mouse. Okay. The purple color connector is for PS2 keyboard. And this 9-pin male connector is called as a COM1 port, communication port 1. Okay. Here we can put the serial mouse, but now the serial mouse we are not using. Here we can put the external modem. The modem is a device which is used for the connecting internet with PC. It is the interface between the telephone line and computer. So today most of the motherboard do not have this type of connector. This port is absent. And this 25-pin female connector called as a parallel port, LPT1. The technical name is LPT1. Here we can fit the printer. It's a 25-pin female connector, linear parallel port, also called as parallel port or a printer port. Nowadays only dot matrix printer is connected on this port. The new latest printers like a inkjet printer, laser printers are connected on a USB port. The display card is also inbuilt in the motherboard. We know that below this heatsink there is a chipset, graphics and memory controller hub. It is the most important chipset of the motherboard. We can say it's the heart of the motherboard. It controls all graphics and memory related operations. It controls the RAM and CPU communications. Okay. And the display card is also present inside this chipset. That is why it is called as graphics and memory controller. The number of this chipset is 82845. That is why this motherboard is called as 845 motherboard. See, this is a 15-pin female connector. It is called as a VJ connector, USB connector, monitor. So the display card is also inbuilt there. This motherboard is the ATX type of motherboard because it has a 20-pin power connector for SMPS. The old motherboard was having a 12-pin connector. That is the AT type motherboard. These ports are called as USB ports, flat ports. Nowadays 2, 4 or 8 ports are coming on the motherboard. USB stands for Universal Serial Bus Port. Here we can connect all type of hardware, any hardware. This port nearly support 127 hardware devices. We can put keyboard, mouse, scanner, printer, everything. Pen drive, mobiles, card readers is supported by this USB port. The most famous, widely used all over the world. Standard serial port for connecting everything. This motherboard also have a inbuilt sound card. If you want to see the sound card chip inside the motherboard, look at the close to the PCI slot. These are the PCI slots. And very close to the PCI slot there is a small chip. This chip is for sound card. Different vendors provide different sound cards. The sound card vendors are C-Media, Analog Devices, Realtek, Sigma-Tel. Okay. We should know the vendor to install the drivers. If in future you want to install the drivers, then you should know the vendor and model number of the chip. To know the chip number, you have to use the magnifying glass. So these are the 3 female stereo sockets. One is a blue, green and pink. Pink is for microphone and green is for speaker and blue is for line input. Line input we will use if we are having TV tuner card. अगर TV tuner card है तो हम लोग इसका use करेंगे. The second important chipset on the motherboard is input-output controller hub. ICH82801 is the number. This chipset controls all these input-output devices, the PCI slots and also the storage devices. See, this is a 34-pin header connector. This is for floppy drive. Okay. With the help of flat ribbon cable, we interface the floppy drive with the motherboard. Okay. On the floppy drive cable, there is a twist. The twist side goes to the floppy drive and another end of the cable comes to the motherboard. Then we can also put a hard disk as well as a CD-ROM on this 40-pin header connector. On motherboard there are two 40-pin header connectors. One is called as primary IDE connector, another is called as secondary IDE connector. So we can put one cable, on one cable we can have two devices. So here we can put four devices on this ports. Nowadays this connector is called as a PATA connector, parallel AT attachment, because the latest motherboards, after this motherboard, they are having a new connector for hard disk. That connector is called as SATA, serial AT attachment, SATA. And this is the PCI slot. Here we can put the cards. If we do not have any card, like a TV tuner card, an internal modem, or suppose your some hardware is failed, your USB ports are not working, then you can purchase a USB card and you can put on the PCI slot. PCI stands for Peripheral Component Interconnect. It is a 32-bit slot. The clock speed is 33 MHz, and it's an open standard slot. Okay. If your parallel port is not working, you can put the parallel port card. Okay. And the third important chipset on the motherboard is ROM BIOS chip. When we start computer, the processor first look in the ROM BIOS chip. It execute program. From here, it checks basic input-output system hardwares of computer, all the hardwares, like the keyboard, computer's battery, computer's clock, hard disk, floppy drive, these hardwares, RAM, display card. It checks. If it find any error, it gives the any problem, it gives the error in the form of beep code or error on the screen or error on the screen. See, if there is a problem with the RAM, it will give continuous beeps. It indicates that there is a problem with the RAM. If it gives one long, three short beeps, there is a problem with the display card. And if the problems are visible, like it will give error on screen, floppy disk fail, hard disk fail, CMOS checksum error, CMOS battery low, press F1 to continue, keyboard fail, like that. So basic input-output system hardware's testing program is present in the ROM BIOS. That program is called as post for ROM test. The most important thing that today's ROM chip is a flash type of ROM. Flash means we can erase the old program, we can put the new program. This type of BIOS are updatable BIOS, upgradable. We can upgrade the contents if the company is giving the new program for the ROM. So it is possible. So ISO's company is giving these programs on the internet to upgrade your BIOS. If you upgrade the BIOS, your computer's performance get improved. So in this way you can explain the motherboard. 5 मिनट इस तरह से एक्सप्लेन कर सकते हो.